Hold on a moment. Turn down the music. Stop the party. I know it was fun, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's only the apocalypse, and we can pretend it isn't happening by having our customary party and getting drunk and having some sex and trying to get back to work in a couple of days, or maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? The reason I've asked you to stop the party is because all must make a choice right now. For there is no more time, for the end is nigh. The end doesn't care if it's a new year or not. The end could care less about what the calendar says. There are but two paths, and you must choose, and then you can get back to your party. Path 1, God, Jesus Christ, righteousness, justice, decency, the law. Path 2, the imp, the antichrist, the apocalypse, Armageddon, the lake. Choose now. Congratulations, you have chosen the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you, a bloody gayin. Now you can get back to the party and pretend like the apocalypse is not upon us. As you were. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It appears Donnie is at the point where he's openly wishing people would rot in hell. The Antichrist. Wishing hell upon others, the irony, son. The bloody irony. Even the imp is laughing. For the imp knows where Donnie's going. The imp knows where he's going too. That's what he's mad about. Could care less where Donnie's going. Let's begin. A few things from yesterday, and then we'll get to the abomination that was fucking today. It's like Donnie waits for these holidays and, like, you know, sacred moments of society. And he wakes up in the morning and he says to himself, I'm going to be extra evil today. I want to upset as many people as possible. What can I say, imp? Do you have any inspiration or ideas for me? You saw today, right? Or were you busy partying? I don't know. And I ain't judging nobody. I've partied. But now it's the apocalypse. So, you know, partying's not really a priority in my life right now. Actually, nothing's really a priority. Absolutely nothing. And it took me a long time, and I've realized there's nothing here for me. Absolutely nothing. Nothing of interest at all whatsoever. That's not a good feeling. Plus, it's the apocalypse on top of it. I get that fun on top of that realization. It's not fun, people. But let me get to this. Enough about the misery that is this shite ball we're on. Donnie yesterday or the day before, possibly with BB, I believe he said this. He started talking about the ballroom, and it looks like this. And these came out the next day for some reason. I'm doing a magnificent, big, beautiful ballroom that the country has wanted. It's bigger than I told you. It's, after realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building, it's got all bulletproof glass. Okay, we're getting more details about this thing. And again, Hitler wanted to build a ballroom and an arch, hired an architect. It's a known thing. It's not a secret. It's not conspiracy theory. Hitler wanted to make Berlin the capital of the world. You're watching the modern Reich and the Hitler figure follow in those exact footsteps, attempting to finish the work Adolf started. I hope you understand the full gravity of that statement. It ain't just about buildings, son. It's about guessing, motherfuckers. That's what finishing the work Adolf started fucking means. Not just the shit Adolf wanted to build. Not just concentration camps. You know what it means. And that's what these people are doing right before your eyes. I don't care what modern terms they throw over it. A detention center's still a concentration camp, son. And that's how the motherfucking, that's how the man sees it. That's what all the little children out there don't get. They call it this, they call it that. They call it politics. To shield themselves, to shield their psyches, to justify the evil they are doing. We put modern new terms over it, like detention center, like filling in gaps in the workforce, the humans that were sold to another country. Don't matter what you call it, son. Not to the man. And again, everybody likes to make lists. Everybody talking about making lists, all different kind of entities making different kind of lists. The man is making a list, and his is accurate as fuck. So the building, the same thing that Hitler wanted to build over a bunker, by the way, we know there's a bunker under that thing as well. Just like Hitler's. Bulletproof. And I have more, that this comment was longer than this. I'm just giving you the opener. What would they need that for? I wonder. Inauguration. Does Donnie strike you as the type of guy that would steal $350 million from the taxpayer straight out the treasury? That's what he's going to do, if he hasn't already. Said it out loud. To pay for this structure and the bunker underneath and doing whatever they nefarious cunts want to do to it, because they know what they're going to do to you in the future. They knew before January. That's why I was yelling, son. Too late now. Now we got to live it. So they know what they're going to do in the future. I knew what they were going to do in January in the future. That's why I was yelling then too. So that's what the room is for. That's why it's armored. That's why there's a bunker underneath. When they go full Reich, well, they're going to need a place to shelter up, isn't they? Until all the revolts are put down with bullets. You think I'm kidding, son? I ain't been yelling for 10 years for nothing. So that's obviously why the shielding is necessary. And the question I began to ask before I tangented the fuck off again, as I always do. What the hell was I going to say? Oh, the inauguration. When Donnie speaks inauguration, does Donnie strike you as the kind of guy that is doing all this, steal all that money, build this enormous monstrosity of a structure that takes years for someone else's inauguration? Does Donnie strike you as the guy that would do that? Here's one clue. He staged a coup last time rather than just leave. So there's your answer on whether that ballroom's for Donnie or some future jerk-off's inauguration. One, they're not going to let anyone be in charge after Donnie. That's the point of a Reich and a dictatorship. They know that. You don't. So this pretense that they're actually going to let some transition of power ever take place, my God, what a joke. And what Donnie means by inauguration is his coronation as king of the world, or his inauguration for his third term, which is forever. That's what Donnie's talking about. You understand that, right? What it's really for, why it's right over the bunker, is, well, they can govern from the bunker. As everyone's rioting up top because they went full Reich and they killed people and gassed people and took people to camps and arrested them and stopped the results of the elections and stuff like that. Martial law, all that good stuff. You got the bunker all renovated on your fucking dime, every goddamn penny. I don't care what anyone says. Got the shell over the bunker, which is armored with your money, all ready to go. Bulletproof glass, you say, and there's more. And here's Seth Abramson commenting on this. Oh, the rest of Donnie's comment. Let's read that part. It's bigger than I told you. And again, he's standing next to BB when he's saying these things. That's what it looks like. This was yesterday, I believe, or the day before. But these comments didn't get put up till yesterday. Sorry, why would there need to be an emergency indoor inauguration on January 20, 2029 with bulletproof glass and protections against civilian monitoring tech? Oh, that's right. Martial law is coming. I keep forgetting. Now let me read you the rest. It's bigger than I told you. It's, after realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building. Well, what inauguration, Donnie? It's got all bulletproof glass. It's got all drone. They call it drone-free roof. Its drones won't touch it. Wow, more and more security features on this thing, huh? How did this person put it? Why would there need to be an emergency indoor inauguration on January 20, 2029 with bulletproof glass and protections against civilian monitoring tech? Yeah, indeed. Why would there need to be that? Oh, because he ain't leaving. That's why. Only reason. No other reason that would be necessary. Donnie loves telling on himself. Many people are saying means him. It's one of his tells. My friends will get hurt means he'll get hurt. America's taking in trillions, that means he's taking in trillions. You understand how it works? Real simple. Martial law is coming, I keep forgetting. Enjoy the little bit of freedom we still have left. Because crackdowns are coming. They ain't messing around. Got a stack of bodies down in the Caribbean over 100 high, son. They dead serious. They're going to execute this plan. They have executed a lot of it already. And no one's doing shit. So that ballroom is a shell for a bunker, which they will need when they go full Reich and they reveal what they've always been. I mean, the camps again and the masked men and everything you've seen, your military deployed against you, everything you've seen so far should have been enough for you, but obviously it's not, because millions of people are not out on the street protesting. Where we're at right now is not, or excuse me, is indicative of this going all the motherfucking way. The nightmare for everybody. I haven't seen one thing that tells me this is going away. It ain't going further. It ain't going to that nightmare I always knew it would. Every light looks green to me, baby. And we're at this point. They've achieved so much. Normalization, desensitizing of evil. How do I know there's not millions of people out on the streets right now protesting? That's how I know. We're already too deep in the water. There's no fucking going back. And enjoy your party tonight. And I ain't judging you, son. I am not judging you. There's not going to be that many more of those. And this is going to get, how do I put it? The circle is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And it will knock on everyone's door. Until that final moment. Do you pledge allegiance? Do you take the mark? Yes or no? And that will be, again, what you decide in that moment will decide the rest of your experience in existence, in this life and the next. And if you decide to take it, that will be, again, your last redeemable moment. The second you take it, you are now irredeemable. Guaranteed, no trade backs again, no changing your mind, no sorry God, I didn't mean it. Impossible. Again, otherwise, my crazy ass would not have been yelling on camera for 10 fucking years. That's how dire it is. I know most of you humans don't understand, can't fathom what I'm saying right now. Think of it this way. 10 years of me trying to, give this message and warn. And again, I didn't get into this game for fame, glory, or money. There's been none of that, again. Got in it because I felt something, and I saw everyone of alleged Christian conservative values, one by one putting a name on the Antichrist, son. The most vile, abominable individual. And it was obvious all the way back in 2015, son. Every day, all day. There's no excuse for anyone. So I watched that phenomena take place. Everything I listened to, pretty much commentary-wise, I could no longer listen to. So part of the decision was like, well, I guess I gotta go say something. No one else is saying it. Then I found Brother James shortly after that. Maybe before, I can't remember. He's the only one I'm aware of that was saying it back then and is still saying it now. and has the scriptural knowledge to back it up. Not like the people you're used to listening to, that you think have scriptural knowledge and can back it up. Brother James, whole nother level. And what I'm trying to say is Brother James doesn't make leaps that most hermeneutics people make when they make a case that are just obviously wrong. And they'll write whole books on it. That's the sad part. Anyway, let me move on here. Again, I digress too much. What time is it anyway? I can't see the time. There's a little clock. I can't see it. 11 something? Okay, concentration camp update. New ICE facility being planned for Jupiter, Florida. Part of a plan to hold 80,000 immigrants in warehouses. The government plans to convert warehouses into at least 7 large-scale detention centers and 16 smaller processing sites. 5,000 to 10,000 beds. Processing site would have 500 to 1,500 beds. Oh, wow, there's a lot of dots and circles here. The dots are the processing centers. There's more of those across the country. Many in the Northeast. The larger detention centers looks like Maryland area, Nebraska, Georgia, Louisiana, a couple in Texas, one in Arizona. And that doesn't count the camps that are, you know, on foreign soil. Or the people they sell, you know, into slavery to Palau, was it? Those are just the American ones. Concentration camps. Literally. For profit, a lot of them, if not all of them. So, I hope your name's not on it. The man will so not be pleased. Because again, son, you can go to work, you can come home, eat your steak with your family, and call them detention centers, and be down with it. The man ain't down with it, and he ain't down with you, son. Just letting you know what to expect. You guys know it's $1 billion bunker being created in anticipation of martial law, whose $50 million ballroom annex is merely its open-air atrium, right? Right. That's not a joke. I mean, we're not still pretending this is a ballroom, right? Again, that's Seth Abramson. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I knew he wasn't leaving back in January. I knew he wasn't leaving before the election if he won. How? He staged a fucking coup last time, that's how. Real simple deduction there. Margie Green, I can't believe we're at the point where Margie is saying shit like this. I told you before the election. I told you right after he won. I've been yelling for 10 fucking years. I remember all those years ago yelling the same exact thing. Donnie throws everyone under the bus. He's a beast. You can't control him. That's simple. I don't care who the fuck you are. BB and Vlad have some reins on the beast right now. Compromat, other things. I have a feeling, based on Donnie's pattern of behavior, that he gonna snap those. And he gonna turn on them with teeth out like he's turned on everybody. Sorry, I'm very tired and my mouth is dry and it's making it even hard to form words. Fatigue and dehydration. Not good. His overall behavior in recent months, she told me, was that of a president who would stop at nothing to remain in office even after his second term expires. Well, Margie used to not care if Donnie stayed in office. Isn't it funny how she's saying this now when she literally, in a huge way and very strongly, helped make this very thing happen? In my opinion, Green predicted we're going to see more war. Wow, that's a bold prediction. Because what do you do when you really lose power, when you become a lame duck? How do you cling to power? You go to war. Margie knew this before her miracle conversion of late, and she didn't mind. Now all of a sudden she minds when the monster she helped create and was fine with being dictator for life as long as it benefited her in major ways, is coming for her, calling her a traitor. Now she has a problem with Donnie staying forever, with Donnie possibly starting a war to stay in power. Yeah, we know, Marge. That's what people like me and thousands of others have been yelling for 10 years. And you've been yelling how great it would be. Unbelievable. We got Sporkfoot saying Donnie's going to start a war and Donnie doesn't want to leave. Yeah, that's what we all been saying. But Margie was cool. And a lot of you out there were cool with it and are cool with that idea. What you don't know, that I know for certain, it's your destruction, what you desire. And you've already set it loose. Too late. Inevitable. Your desire, Donnie running the world, being world dictator, means the end of the world. That's a promise. And again, you've already set the monster loose. You can't put him back in the cage. Impossible. Why? Because the devil gave him his power, seat, and authority, son, not you. You were just the pawn that went to the voting booth, that preached the MAGA gospel given to you by evil men. Too late. Junkyard dog already snapped the leash. He's out the fence. And he biting motherfuckers, and he ain't ever gonna stop until the man stops him. Because again, I keep thinking about this. What's different about this time than all the tyrants and madmen before that wanted to control the world and be the Antichrist? Modern technology and nuclear weapons. What if one of those tyrants of old would have had a intercontinental ballistic nuclear missile? I imagine one of those tyrants would have shot it the fuck off. And the problem with nuclear missiles is they irradiate and could possibly poison the entire world. Now, we have several tyrants across the world, but only one Antichrist with the blessing, son. And he just happens to have the nuclear football to the biggest, most modern arsenal of nuclear weapons. Simple equation. Antichrist plus nuclear weapons equals motherfucker going to use them. How could he not? Or he'll be about to use them when the man comes back. And that's why the man does have to come back. Maybe those missiles get shot off. Maybe the man don't even care about that and lets that happen. And maybe that's how a third of the earth becomes poison. And the battle takes place after that exchange. With whatever irradiated zombies are left. I've been thinking about this demand that an image be made and we worship it in a story. The more I think about that, the more I do really wonder, is Donnie going to be a vegetable one morning and they can't do anything about it? He's still alive, but he's a vegetable. So now it's Donnie AI, already programmed with his personality. Who do you think writes half those posts? They're experimenting with AI to be Donnie in a lot of those posts. Because again, the plan is Donnie AI, he's the image of the Reich forever. Reichs aren't temporary in their planning. So it doesn't matter if he lives or dies, becomes a vegetable, they're going to continue on. But I'm really starting to lean towards maybe he does become a vegetable, and that's why one of these freaks comes out and says we need to make the image, which will be an AI version of him. And you need to respect that. Because that's Donnie. That's his image. That's still the dictator. He's omnipresent now in the digital world. And we're all under a blanket of surveillance that you paid for. Greasy Pete, welfare that went to him. And others. We got Margie Sporkfoot saying Donnie's going to start a fucking war to stay in power. You know who Margie's starting to sound like? Me. And others. Only because it serves her own interests now. Because she on the outs, she has the leader of the cult, the Antichrist himself, saying she a goddamn traitor. She ain't the only one he's fucking with, too. He's fucking with Bobo now, too. Can you believe it, son? What you've watched the past 10 years with Margie and Bobo. Their entire identity, their whole shtick is MAGA. Everything about them. It was Donnie, all about Donnie, all the time. They were his two main bizzos. Look at them now. Again, everybody who thinks they're special to this thing, everyone who thinks they're, their flavor of the week, they don't realize it. They think, whatever, I'm next to Donnie now. Laura Loomer. I mean, I can name a million people. Your only flavor of the week to Donnie. You will be under the bridge at some point. That goes for every single person. Now, there's too many people in the world for him to get to everybody. So he'll get to as many as he can before the man comes back and ends all this entire shit show. But that's Donnie's existence. We've watched it play out for 10 years. We got Margie and Bobo talking shit. Margie Sporkfoot, one more time, saying Donnie's going to start a war to stay in power. Back to the ballroom again. It's bigger than I told you. It's, after realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building, got bulletproof glass. It's got all drone. They call it drone-free roof. It's drones won't touch it. It's a big, beautiful, safe building. You understand, just so we're clear, he's never leaving. And if he becomes a vegetable, they just roll out Donnie AI and say you have to respect it. As they parade him down. Parade him around in his vegetative state, to just wave to people or whatever. Be prepared. Plan for it. He's not leaving. The coup last time should have told you that. Okay, the New York Times was able to do a little bit of investigation. They found out about one of the boats washed up somewhere down in the Caribbean that the Reich blew up. One of the drug boats that the mass murderer Pete and Donnie are responsible for. NYT has uncovered the evidence of Trump's illegal strikes in Caribbean. No cocaine, no fentanyl, just weed, dead bodies, and strained relationships with allies all over the world. It's never been about drugs. It's about oil and regime change. Yes, indeed. And this is an excerpt. The U.S. military's campaign against boats that the Trump administration claims are smuggling drugs have shifted largely to the Pacific since November. Okay, what justification for the Pacific now? The November 6th strike off the Guajira Peninsula took place during an earlier phase when the campaign seemed to be aimed at Venezuelan rather than Colombian vessels. A wide range of legal experts say the U.S. strikes are illegal because the military is prohibited from deliberately targeting civilians, even if they are believed to have committed a crime, unless they pose an immediate threat. I thought I had the excerpt that talked about what was actually found. What actually washed up was a piece of a boat, charred bodies, and some packages with marijuana residue. So, the Reich is blowing up weed boats. And a lot of you probably thought, as I thought, well, weed's like almost legal everywhere in the United States now, so that's a really thin argument that they're, moving weed. But look, you're watching what the world was watching back in 1939. Adolf Hitler going around the world taking what he wants. The difference, though, Germany started off broke, much smaller country with way less people, much less of a threat than the Empire of America in 2025, as dangerous as Hitler was. There is no comparison to the damage the U.S. military can do right now today in comparison to the damage the full weight of the German military could do back then. There's no comparison. That's how much of a bigger scale we're talking about with the U.S. American empire's power. It's kind of horrifying, actually, that a madman could get control, and a lot of you people would give him control, of the means to steal, kill, do whatever he wants all over the world. And he doing it. It's so dangerous. And the Antichrist, or a tyrant, a personality type like Donnie Shitbags, and they have been all throughout time. When he has a toy like that, he gonna use it. And again, the first 6 months of the first term, he used it until he got shamed. Then he became the man of peace all of a sudden. That's the danger of this man, what you've done by giving him the keys. He's got, again, like I said before the election, he's got the biggest hammer in the world. Nothing has existed even remotely close to it. Every tyrant born since the beginning of time wishes they could have had what Donnie's got his hands on right now. Because what was every tyrant's dream since the beginning of time? Subjugating the entire planet, being master of the earth, everyone afraid of him. Whatever he says is law. For the planet, every tyrant since day one has wanted that very thing. Only one man has ever had the means to do it, to actually do it. Donnie. We've never had the personality type before. We've had some sick fucks as president that have done some horrible things. But we didn't have the guy who wanted to be dictator of the world. That classic narcissistic personality. God complex that we see throughout Genghis Khan, fucking Alexander the Great, Adolf Hitler, Kim Jong-un, people, you know, that personality type. Israeli president's office denies Trump's claim Netanyahu pardon is on its way. Remember, Donnie claimed Bibi was getting a pardon and it's pretty much guaranteed. Herzog, the leader of Israel, has basically said, yeah, we never said that. You requested that we give him a pardon a while back. We never really said we were going to do that. But again, Donnie got the hammer, baby. He's always got that to fall back on. And he ain't afraid to use it. So if people in Israel and the government don't want to do what he wants them to do, well, he's got 200 troops there, and, you know, he's got the rest of the American military, and he's got Bibi as his mouthpiece. He makes them. Any situation, even inside America, we've watched him deploy the military against us. If he wants to just drop the facade and go full Reich, a state doesn't do what he wants, he sends the military in to grab people and, you know, make it happen. Always got that to fall back on. And he will more and more. Some CIA officials were reportedly upset that Donnie publicized an operation in Venezuela that is normally kept covert or at least not openly linked to the U.S. government, according to current and former officials, Wall Street Journal. Look, the day this happened, when the CIA had to admit they did it, I knew Donnie fucked up royally and literally blabbed classified information that the CIA did not want out. This is just further confirmation. Imagine being a CIA agent right now or administrator, and you got to worry about dumbass Donnie just blabbing the fuck an entire mission that you would have never told the American public about. That's got to scare the fuck out of you. Plus all the spies' names that he sold to Putin back in the day. That would scare the fuck out of me. Were I an agent, especially overseas, I know Vlad would have my name. Anyway, that's just Donnie. That's what Tuesday for Donnie, blabbing straight up classified CIA information to the whole fucking world. And then when the press asked him, oh, it's no big deal. It's just a little bombing in Venezuela. You know, I wasn't supposed to say nothing to CIA, you know. Bobo passed like her first piece of legislation. Because she ain't there to pass laws, son. She's there doing an act. This is an Explore Talent X escort. So she's doing an act for the geriatrics. And that's why she's where she's at. And that's what she goes to work to do. Not pass laws. So she finally gets something which passes in the House and the Senate, I believe, unanimously. It has to do with clean water in Colorado. Let's read about it. And let's find out what Donnie did with Bobo's bill. That's not even controversial. It's Bobo. Who's more MAGA than Bobo? Trump used his first veto to block a unanimously approved Colorado drinking water project. I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to come back and read the rest of this. Bobo gets a clean water bill passed in both houses, son. And it goes to the Antichrist desk. And again, Bobo and Margie, they were the MAGA's darlings for 10 years. And Donnie grabs the stamp. Veto. Stamp. Veto. I told you, son. What did Daddy say? He's the Antichrist. Just out of spite over Bobo, Margie, and that whole thing. You people elected a monster. It's actually chilly outside, rare down here in this jungle fucking climate. I love this kind of weather. The booms you hear, that's fireworks. In a couple years, those will be real bombs and missiles. We'll get into war with China or Russia or Europe or the whole fucking world or something. I'm not kidding. But for now, they're just fireworks. Don't panic. Nothing says America first like denying clean drinking water. This is Bobo talking. To 50,000 people in Southeast Colorado, many of whom enthusiastically voted for him in all three elections. Again, this is Bobo talking about Donnie. I sincerely hope this veto has nothing to do with political retaliation for calling out corruption and demanding accountability. Americans deserve leadership that puts people over politics. So that's the talking point Margie and Bobo are running with because they see they're on the wrong side of the fence with Donnie now. What I find most interesting and funny with Margie, Sporkfoot, and Bobo now, all of a sudden now they're concerned with corruption and retaliation and threats and intimidation and vetoes and stuff like that, when before they were all about it. They loved it. They preached it. They just wanted power. Again, let me get real. Let me really say something right now. Do you understand what you people have done? You're all learning the hard way, I know, including Bobo and Margie. They're just an example. And they're a great example because they are the top of the chain under Donnie. They're right at the highest levels of MAGA world. And they preached that gospel. They loved every second of it. It got them more money. It got them more power. It got them more fame. Now they have to face the very corruption and monster they cheered on, they loved. All of you people that voted for this, that made this happen, including Bobo and Margie, you are now going to have to reap what you wanted the right to sow upon everyone else. You are going to have to experience, tolerate, and suffer that corruption, that evil that you put on a pedestal, that you preached as wonderful, as just, as righteous, as Christian, as beautiful, as patriotic. None of those things are true. He's the opposite of all of it. The very opposite. So you're all learning the hard way all the way up to the fucking top. You've unleashed a beast, and he taken you all the fuck down with him. All of you. You made a deal with the most evil entity possibly ever born to achieve your ends, which were evil in the first place. Now that very corruption, that very evil will come knocking on your door, just like it's knocking, listen son, listen, just like it's knocking on Bobo and Margie's door. And they were all the way at the top of MAGA world. Where the fuck are you at, son? No one even knows who the fuck you are. That's probably why your farm's gone. Because you were just a low-level voter. A MAGA peasant, if you will. So if Donnie's willing to call Margie a straight-up fucking traitor in front of the whole world, what do you think he's capable of doing to you, son? That's what you're all learning. That's what Bobo and even Margie are learning now. Oh shit. We preached this guy's gospel. We knew how evil he was the whole motherfucking time. We knew how evil we were. Now we're going to have to suffer it. And again, none of your efforts will work. All the different camps, Leon and Thale and JD, that camp, nope, you've already lost. Vlad and BB and all them, you think you're going to win. You've already lost. The people lower in MAGA world, Bobo and Margie, You think what you're saying right now is going to unseat the beast? Any of you. Again, as evil as you fuckers are. Bobo, Margie, Thale, Leon, Vlad, BB, others. As evil as you fuckers are, you can't fathom the blessing Donnie has and the evil within Donnie and the evil within his daddy, the imp son. Oh my God. You people are, again, you're toddlers in comparison. You're all learning it the hard way. The amazing thing is seeing it at the top. Seeing it happen to MAGA's most loyal over and over again. And they never learn. It's amazing. It's astounding. So what it comes down to, Bobo, Margie, all of you out there that wanted him to sow destruction upon the people you don't like and turn this country into some 1950s whites only segregated, whatever the fuck it was back then, as if those were the fucking glory years or something. Nope. You'll get pieces of that utopia you were looking for here and there, a little bit of theater, a little bit of roundups, exterminations. None of it will mean shit. And it just ends again with you in the fucking lake, lest you turn away. And I'm not talking about an insincere conversion like Margie and Bobo. They're just doing what they have to. They've got no choice. They on the outs now. Donnie took the rubber stamp. Veto. Bobo, Margie, the rest of you, you can't fathom how evil this thing is. I knew 10 years ago, son. That's why you should listen to what I'm telling you right now. You should have been listening 10 years ago, too. Because I knew what you did and what you still don't. And it's all going pretty much how I thought it would. Going right back to what I said before January and after. Donnie throws everyone under the bus. No one is special. Absolutely no one. Except maybe Ivanka. That's it. We find out that Donnie was sending girls over to Epstein's house from the massage girls from his club, Mar-a-Lago. That's like the least surprise ever. Of course he fucking was. Wall Street Journal again. Mar-a-Lago sent an 18-year-old spa worker on a house call to Epstein in 2003. She complained to her bosses that Epstein pressured her for sex. This wasn't a one-off. They sent multiple girls over years to his house. So, Donnie was literally running a massage parlor delivery service. To be precise, Trump's Mar-a-Lago spa sent beauticians and masseurs to do house calls for Epstein, and in 2003, 3 years after Virginia Guffrey was taken by Epstein, an 18-year-old Mar-a-Lago employee reported to HR that Epstein pressured her for sex. Manager urged Trump to kick Epstein out. Oh, and this is the Wall Street Journal, not some random publication. Female employee was sent 2 miles away to Epstein's home for house calls. 18-year-old complained to HR. Massage parlor delivery service. Of course. Least surprising thing ever. Oh, your Gestapo update for today. Louisiana. ICE officer pleads guilty to sexually abusing Nicaraguan detainee for months while she was under his authority. For months, you say, son. And that's just one person that we found out about. Again, I hope your name ain't on this. Calling them detention centers, calling it politics, that ain't gonna save you at the lake, son. The man ain't gonna want to hear none of that bullshit. That's modern society corporate speak for mass murder, slavery, roundups, torture, people dying in camps, concentration camps, evil in the image of Adolf Hitler, literally that same evil. I hope your name's not on it. I really do. None of the talking points will help you. That Vlad, Donnie, the RNC, whoever gave you, Facebook, worthless. Calling them again, detention camps, sorry, not going to work. Laughing about people being rounded up, tortured, possibly killed. If that exhilarates your heart, the man will not be pleased with you. I told you about this the other day. The tiny nation of Palau, where 2 seasons of Survivor were filmed, has agreed to take 75 migrants for $7.5 million. They have not been charged with crimes. They will be put to work filling labor shortages. That is straight up slavery. That's what America is now in the business in, and your money is financing it. And this person is saying, they're commenting on what I told you a couple days ago about this story. So slavery, we're selling people into slavery. Yeah, exactly. Literally, there's no other way to look at it. So again, I mentioned this earlier, the modern corporate cunt speak will be put to work filling labor shortages. You can call it that, son. You can say that out your mouth when you're at church on Sunday, when you're at the water cooler talking to your co-workers, trying to justify the evil within you. When you're at the lake or in front of the man, you can call it that. You can say, well, they were just, filling labor shortages, and my tax money financed it, and I preached it's greatness. No, that's not going to work. It's public knowledge that people are being sold into slavery to some fucking desert island somewhere, financed by your money. Again, all I can say is I hope your fucking name ain't on this, man. Donnie went crazy today, with post after post saying that outlandish shit. What I think really got to Donnie today is he lost the Supreme Court decision about the troops being deployed in the various states. So I think he's flipping out about everything in general because of that. And he's talking about Tina Peters again. He wants this traitor, Tina Peters, out of a Colorado prison. I believe it's Colorado. Yes, Colorado. Let's read some of this quickly. God bless Tina Peters, who is now for 2 years out of 9, sitting in a Colorado maximum security prison at the age of 73 and sick for the crime, that's in quotes, he used it right for once, of trying to stop the massive voter fraud that goes on interstate. No, that's not why she's in prison. We all know she's guilty. We know she's a traitor. We know Donnie's a traitor, my God. So Donnie's trying to let another criminal out. Have you noticed how many criminals have been freed? I mean, straight up guilty fucking criminals. It's almost as if Donnie's the Antichrist or something, and evil, and he's letting all the evil people out of prison. As long as they pay him. Systematically. He put a guy just on pardons. There's an office just for pardons. Like someone's lawyer calls up, how much does my client got to pay? 2 million, 3 million. Depends on, how bad it's going to look for us when we pardon them. Let me continue. Hard to wish her a happy new year, but to the scumbag governor, disgusting Republican rhino DA who did this to her, nothing happens to the Dems and their phony mail-in ballot system that makes it impossible for a Republican to win an otherwise very winnable state. And here's the point at the end. I wish them only the worst. May they rot in hell. Free Tina Peters. President of the United States, I mean, this is the 9 millionth example of me with this tone of voice talking about some abomination that the president spoke that no other president would dare ever say. If we're at war with some country that's committed evil atrocities, I could see a world leader using those kind of phrases. But he's talking about people in government at the state level in an American state, and he's the president. Again, a window into Donnie's psyche, where he's at maturity-wise. 11, maybe. I'm not kidding. He has no concept of decorum, class, etiquette, what's required of someone who gets the office of the presidency. He's just a low-educated mobster. Again, the President of the United States, wishing this on a governor and a DA and others, I'm sure. I wish them only the worst. May they rot in hell. Free Tina Peters. This isn't bin Laden who, took down the 9/11 towers. At least that's the story they run with. I could maybe see a statement like that about the person being blamed for the Twin Towers or something. That's not who these people are. Donnie's supposed to be on their side. And no president would ever say something like this. Donnie's special. He's different. And the irony, again, of the Antichrist saying someone else should rot in hell. I mean, that is just... Is there any greater irony ever in the history of mankind than that? The Antichrist sitting in the Oval Office saying he probably won't go to heaven, too. I did not see that coming. Aaron Rupar says about this comment by Donnie, unvarnished gutter racism and Nazism from the president, a disgrace to our country. Here we go. Much of the Minnesota fraud, up to 90%, is caused by people that came into our country illegally from Somalia. Hold on. A white woman was at the top of the fraud ring that I believe they got busted under Biden. That's where all these lies are coming from. A white woman was at the top of the fraud, not a dark-skinned Somali person. Never forget that. People that came into our country illegally from Somalia, Congresswoman Omar, an ungrateful loser who only complains and never contributes, is one of the many scammers. Donnie's literally complaining right now. And all Donnie does is complain. Did she really marry her brother? No, she didn't. Lowlights like this can only be a liability to our country's greatness. Send them back from where they came. Somalia, perhaps the worst, most corrupt country on earth. Make America great again. Talking abject shit about an American congressman. And we all know why the Somalis are being targeted. We all know why Donnie's had his heart on for, what the fuck's her name again? Ilhan Omar. They're not policy differences. They're complexion differences. And everyone fucking knows it. Yeah, he's right. Unvarnished gutter racism and Nazism. Yeah, yeah. Not regular racism, not just racism. Unvarnished gutter racism. That's you people that are part of this. That's Donnie. Trump announces he's pulling the National Guard from Portland, LA, and Chicago, but threatens that we will come back, perhaps in a much different and stronger form. Let me just read it. This is because of court cases, not because Donnie's a nice guy and just wanted to pull him. Only because of court cases. We are removing the National Guard from Chicago, LA, Portland, despite the fact that crime has been greatly reduced. He capitalized all caps, crime. By having these great patriots in those cities, and only by that fact. Portland, LA, Chicago were gone if it weren't for the federal government stepping in. Wow, they survived all this time without armed troops on every corner. We will come back, perhaps in a much different and stronger form. Donnie's telling on himself the future, what you should expect. Pay attention. We will come back perhaps in a much different and stronger form when crime begins to soar again. Only a question of time. Again, Donnie and the Reich knew what they were going to do before January. Donnie's telling on himself again. He's saying, he's literally telling you, I'm going to send the military back in when the time comes. One time it might come, midterms, the end of the 4 years, because he's not leaving. That's not a theory. That's not a guess. That's not a maybe. I'm telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. He's not leaving. This is a Reich, and this is their moment, and they season it. Look around the world at what they've achieved in under a year and recognize. Wake up. So Donnie literally telling you outright what he's going to do in the future. Donnie tells himself all the time, and I point it out to you all the time. It's a child we're dealing with. Only a question of time. It's hard to believe that those Democrat mayors and governors, all of whom are greatly incompetent, would want us to leave. He's talking about the lawsuits, them winning their verdicts. And that's the only reason these troops are going away. Especially considering the great progress that has been made. You mean progress for the Reich. That's what Donnie means by progress. Because that's all you've seen be built in front of you before your eyes is a Reich. There's a reason I've used that word since January. I'm not joking. I'm not being dramatic. You're literally witnessing a Nazi Germany style Reich be built right before your face. The guy had the military deployed in various American cities. What other president has ever done that? For nothing, just to build a Reich. Just to get you desensitized and used to it. Just to provoke a response. I can't think of a president that's done that. And he's saying outright to your fucking face, I'm going to do it again when I'm ready. This ship I told you about the other day with the 2 reactors, they were not full reactors. They were major components for reactors. A Spanish investigation has concluded that the Russian cargo ship Ursa Major, which sank off the coast of Cartagena in December 2024, was carrying 2 VM-4SG nuclear reactor hulls intended for North Korea. The ship may have been sunk by Russia to hide the evidence. Yep. The second that was verified that those components were on there, and I heard it sunk. Oh, yeah, they sunk it to hide. Precisely what I was worried about, and now I have evidence for it. I talked about it when Donnie started first fucking with Venezuela. I know certain states are vassals of Russia. I always wondered what type shit Russia is giving its vassals. Are they giving them nukes? Because that's what the whole Cuba thing was about, partly, back in JFK day. Russia putting nukes in Cuba right off our shores as if they don't already have subs with nukes right off our fucking shores. But anyway, it wasn't just for that. They love, the CIA loves overthrowing South American or dictatorships south of the border. I mean, it's a pastime for them. But the Russia thing didn't help. Venezuela is a vassal of Russia. Iran is a vassal of Russia. North Korea is a vassal of Russia. What type of shit is Russia giving these people? Well, it appears Russia is at the very least giving North Korea components to build nuclear fucking reactors. This is what I'm worried about with Donnie and Pete, the drunk, sending our military all over the fucking world. One, the people that are going to die needlessly. Two, one of these vassals of Russia or whoever that we're fucking with shoots something very powerful and does some real damage. Something that Russia gave them that we don't know about. I don't like the sound of ships sinking with major nuclear reactor components headed for North Korea from Russia. I don't like the sound of it at all, man. Now I know the type shit Russia is given, though. Verified. Back to the Mar-a-Lago spa thing. Mar-a-Lago Spa's practice of dispatching workers to Epstein's home has not been previously reported. The Mar-a-Lago bosses told the massage therapist Epstein preferred spa services in the privacy of his own home, don't we all? And warned the employee Epstein sometimes exposed himself during massages. In other words, they knew what Epstein was about at Mar-a-Lago. So did Donnie, because he was best buds with him. So everybody down the chain knew when they were sending the young girls over there that Jeffy was going to try and get, a rub and tug, if not more. And they sent him anyway. Beforehand, according to an American official, President Mr. Hegseth. Okay, this is about Pete Hegseth. I forgot about this. This is a quote. Beforehand, according to an American official president, Mr. Hegseth dabbed his nose with powder from a small compact. Look commanding, he told one aide. The handshake with the Ukrainian might be shown on Fox. The president might be watching. That's the quote from Pete when he pulled out his handy compact that he just happened to have with him. Makeup. And then he talks about it when he stabs some makeup on real quick in front of people. He has to explain why. Secretary of War, we had to change the name to make it sound more manly and mean, right? Meanwhile, the Secretary of War, who's supposed to be tough, right? He's got a handy compact of makeup that he keeps with him at all times just in case, he might end up in a Fox News clip or Donnie might see it. That's manly, right? I mean, what a parody this reality is right now. We got a Fox News host, Princeton man, who never seen no real action. in charge of the most powerful military ever since the beginning of time. And one of his main concerns is making sure his makeup's right when he's on camera. To the point, son. Do you hear me, son? Listen. To the point, he keeps a compact of makeup on him at all times. I guess the makeup studio story that Ted Lieu and all them were, making fun of Pete about, I guess that was true, huh? Of course it was fucking true. And son, I don't know if you've come to the realization, because I've said it so many times, that we're fucking doomed. Maybe this will help you. I mean, think about it. The Secretary of War in a hallway. The president of Ukraine, his people are dying. Donnie and Peter on the side of Vlad, and it's obvious. So there's that whole nuance to the whole fucking thing. Zelensky wasting his time coming here, the poor bastard. As if he doesn't have enough to deal with. He's got to come over here for this fucking theater for Vlad's literal bitches. One of the bitches putting makeup on. Donnie never leaves the house without his, spray orange or, dark shoe leather brown. Sometimes he goes with. I don't know, for all these alpha males and shit, because that was a big part of the movement. Masculinity, alpha male, being a tough guy. A lot of makeup, a lot of, other things going on all over the place. What's up with that? Another kind of almost inversion going on. But my point is, son, I'm pausing on this because I personally, as I was talking about it, because I know how fucking doomed we are. I knew 10 years ago. I knew, especially now, in the past, not 10 months. But the thought of Pete in the hallway right before Mr. Zelensky shakes his hand, is dabbing makeup on. The Secretary of War, son, did you know that? Picturing him dabbing on makeup in the hallway and then justifying it out loud. I realized even further how fucking doomed we are. Oh my God. Maybe we'd still have a country if makeup wasn't such a big priority, with the alpha male Donnie Shitbags and the alpha male Pete Hegseth. Donnie again, another post by Donnie. So many today. I'm not giving you all of them. I'm picking, here and there. The Democrats are a bunch of cheaters and thieves that never want to do what's good for America. Again, is Donnie looking in the mirror here? As an example, they refuse to even consider voter ID. Why? Because they want to cheat. The Republicans should not put up with this and many other such things any longer. Look, Donnie pretending they didn't cheat and do whatever they could in past elections. Donnie pretending that we're going to even have future elections. But what Donnie's really talking about is the election he lost against Joe Biden. That's what the real heart of this message is. And voter ID wouldn't change the votes. Look, giving all the money to the rich, endless wars, taking other people's oil, making rape and pedophilia legal, fascism, all the things the right-wing party has stood for since 1945, not popular. Ending social programs, starving the poor, giving all the money to the rich, not popular. Hasn't been popular for a long time. So voter ID wouldn't change jack shit. And why we pretending like we're gonna have legitimate elections ever again? We're not. We're just not. I'm sorry. I told you a long time ago, in January especially, once you give them the keys back, it's over. No more. The empire's over. The world is over. It's all over. So what Donnie's really expressing right here is frustration over the Joe Biden loss. He knows damn well that he's not leaving in 4 years. There's not going to be no, legitimate election. He knows damn well. All of you should know as well, you watched the coup live on television last time. That should tell you all you fucking need to know about whether he's leaving. The Jack Smith stuff came out today, and the reason it came out today, I was kind of surprised to see it, is cause it's New Year's fucking Eve. And what time is it? It's already past, right? Way past. I still can't see the damn time, man. My fucking eyes. All right, it's past 12. It's probably almost 1. I can't even read it. Damn it. It's too small. Anyway, happy fucking New Year. It's the New Year. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a good one and has a good one. So the Jack Smith, the reason it came out is because it's New Year's Eve. And they knew none of you people would give a fuck. Because you busy partying tonight. You don't give a fuck about Jack Smith. I know. That's why they did it. President Trump was by a large measure. Oh, take a look at the man. And he didn't fuck around, and he was very blunt and just straight to the point. He is not, he ain't no partisan hack. He just, and I've never heard such definitive statements about someone as high level as a president before. Definitive. And someone like Jack Smith would not say it out loud unless his ass were legally covered with hard evidence. He has that evidence to the point he can say, I will, if I took this to court, I am completely confident I could show that Donald Trump is guilty of treason or whatever the actual charges of are. Beyond a reasonable doubt. He's saying it for certain. And he's making statement after statement like that. That's unheard of. President Trump was by a large measure the most culpable and most responsible person in this conspiracy. These crimes were committed for his benefit. The attack that happened at the Capitol does not happen without him. This ain't Bob Mueller, son. You don't usually hear certainty like that. And this man, I could tell by looking at him, listening to him speak, he would never make such blunt statements. He's not making allegations. He's making statements that this fucker's guilty. Why? Because he has the concrete evidence he could show in any court of law and prove his case in 5 minutes. Does not happen without him. There's no wiggle room there. There's no allegedly. There's no, this is my theory. That's because he knows his ass is covered legally. This is why they didn't want the hearing public. This is why Jim Jordan did not want this hearing with Jack Smith public. They wanted to have it behind closed doors, run on Fox News, lie about what Jack said and what happened in the meeting, and then blame Jack for it being private. That theater has already taken place. I didn't even tell you about it. And now we're at the point where they have to give it to the public, the Republicans, Jim Jordan. that committee. So they say, okay, this is horrible for Donnie. It's horrible for the Reich. This is abject, concrete evidence. And the investigator that did the work saying Donnie is guilty as fuck, straight up, with evidence in his suitcase. So let's dump it New Year's Eve in the middle of the day. No one will give a fuck. And they're right. No one will give a fuck. Because we're all partying. And again, I ain't judging his son. I just know human nature. That's all. Did you develop evidence that President Trump was responsible for the violence at the Capitol on J6? Jack Smith. Our view of the evidence was that he caused it and that he exploited it. Again, no wiggle room. Straight statements. In newly released video, Jack Smith says he believes Trump is seeking retribution against him, and he wouldn't be shocked to learn Trump directed the DOJ to indict him. Gee, you think? Republicans did not want Smith's testimony to be public, right? Now you know why they wanted it behind closed doors, and then when they finally show it to you, they dump it right before New Year's Eve. This is an ICE ad. Join ICE.gov. This is the Homeland Security Twitter account. Be a patriot among patriots. America has been invaded by criminals and predators. We need you to get them out. It sounds like Stephen the Ghoul wrote that himself. It appears they're on like some farmland. Or are they at the border? I can't tell. It looks like fucking farmland to me. But they're dressed like they're about to go into World War III. And I just thought to myself, if you look at the picture, and again, this is a Reich account, government account, posting this with the gray check mark. That means they're government. So these men, and this isn't Hitlery at all, right, Roops? Totally normal. It looks like they're dressed for World War fucking III. Two of them have gas masks on to go grab people picking crops. Would you say this is a bit of overkill? Because they don't arrest no Tren de Aragua. Those guys shoot back. They don't want none of that action. Yeah, when you're dressed for World War III to go into Home Depots and grab day laborers and grab people off the field picking fucking, I don't know, tomatoes or whatever, cabbage. It's not about immigration, little children. It's about something else. It's also not about illegals if you're dressed like that. It's about you. Again, Reich account, government account putting that out. This person is commenting on Donnie talking about his arch. The real purpose of Doge was to find out where Trump could steal money from. Yeah, and let the AI in to get all your information to give to various parties. Let me not even get into it. Let me stick to this. Donnie's got a little arch in his hand. I guess he's got a model all ready to go. Trump says construction of the Triumphal Arch to begin in 2 months. That's a big priority. That's going to save the farm, right, Roops? That's what you voted for, right? Let me say this again. And I assume this will be something I'm repeating all the way to the end. Like several other things I've repeated for 10 years. Adolf Hitler wanted to build an arch and a ballroom, and he had the plans drawn up, and he wanted to make Berlin the capital of the fucking world. This is known. It's not hidden information. Well known. I'll repeat that one more time. Adolf Hitler wanted to build an arch and a ballroom above a bunker. The war ended before he got a chance. He had the plans drawn up in 1943, I believe. And the idea, which the architect explained to his father, was to make Berlin the capital of the world. So if Donnie's building an arch and an armored ballroom over an armored bunker, what's the next logical step in that? If he's finishing the work of Adolf Hitler, well, Adolf Hitler wanted Berlin to be the capital of the world, the capital of Germany to be the capital of the world, as the leader of Germany, as world dictator. So step 1 is the arch, step 2 is the ballroom, and step 3 is declare the capital of your nation, the capital of the world. Then you know what step 3 is now. Congratulations. Knowing is half the battle. This should be talked about on every news channel every single night. That he's building the very 2 structures that Adolf Hitler wanted to build. Amazing. And yes, you'll pay every dime for both. House Judiciary Committee releases on New Year's Eve in an obvious attempt to bury this info, the Jack Smith deposition transcript. I recommend doing a word search for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah, good comment. Okay, this is Gavin Newsom, the press office, talking about Donnie's comment about removing the National Guard from the various states only because of the courts again. We won in court and forced him to. Trump's rambling here is the political version of "you can't fire me, I quit," right? How many times have we seen that song and dance by Donnie? Several of his subordinates over the years have basically said, you know, I walked out, I quit, I couldn't be part of it. Next thing you know, there's a message put out by Donnie that he fired them. Yes, that's the same principle here. The only reason these troops are leaving is several courts in the Supreme Court said, yeah, we're getting scared now. They should have been scared in the first place. And the second he deployed troops in Cali, the Supreme Court should have jumped in, because it's going to be some of you cunts wearing the robes that might be on the platform or in the jail cell at the hands of the Reich. Not at the hands of the public. At the hands of the Reich, son. And you know it, don't you? You think about it. You're not stupid people on those benches in those robes. If you're starting to understand, and that's why you ruled against this now, it's too late. So Gavin's basically letting us know what the truth is, and I already knew that the second. This isn't something Donnie would do. Just remove the troops? Absolutely not. They're building a Reich. Whole reason the troops were sent is to get you used to it. And boy, did he. So the only reason Donnie made this move, and he's quite upset about it, is because courts made him. Would you believe it? I couldn't believe it. All the shit Donnie was posting today, and there's a lot more that I didn't grab. Because there's just no time. I'm not like Donnie. I can't grift off the taxpayer all day and, you know, just fly around on their dime, live on their dime. They pay my rent, all my bills for my various houses and businesses and grifts and scams. I can't sit around and post all day. I wish I could. What does Donnie do? He posts a clip, can you fucking believe it? A photo from the commercial I've been yelling about since it came out. The Trump Gaza commercial with the gold Donnie statues and all that shit. Remember the picture of Bibi and Donnie on the pool deck? The AI generated photo that was literally in the commercial. Donnie posted that. So if we want to run with the theory, because I'm sure some of you have, when I first introduced this commercial and when I talk about it, Donnie's really not associated with that. He really doesn't care about that. He didn't put his name on that. Oh, yes, he did, son. Right here. Take a look. That's straight from the commercial, son. Trump Gaza. Remember, they flashed that in our face. They talked about the resorts they were going to build. They showed us the commercial. Then they stopped talking about it. Then they said, we're going to build housing. Now, again, just like I said the other night, we right back to where we were, the original plan, because that original plan never went away, son. And this of it, and Donnie posts a literal picture as Gaza's ash, as they're about to go in there and turn it into Atlantic City. Can you fucking believe it, man? And let me show you the Donald Trump thing at the top so you know it's a post from today. I couldn't believe, again, our reality. I'm a guy, believe me, I analyze things all the time. Myself, my role, what I do, what I say, the whole world. Assess reality. I know I'm the guy yelling and screaming for 10 years, and especially right before January and after, that this guy's the fucking Antichrist. I know I'm a condescending asshole the way I present it. That's just me. I'm sorry. I said these things for certain. I didn't say they might happen. Once he got the head wound, I mean, I was certain. I didn't say maybe he's the Antichrist. I said I hope he isn't, but I know he is. So I'm yelling and screaming, and none of this stuff has happened yet. He has not deployed the military. The masked goons weren't out in full force yet. It's January. He just got in. I'm yelling about all the things he's going to do. I'm yelling he's the Antichrist, which I know sounds crazy. You know how I know that sounds crazy? Because I'm not crazy. But honestly, throughout Scripture, there were many proclamations and things God wanted men to do that they thought sounded crazy. They thought would end up getting them killed. And God's like, you better do it anyway. Despite what you think's going to happen. You better just follow my commands and do what you're supposed to do. So I'm saying all these crazy things. And I'm perfectly aware what I'm saying sounds crazy. I'm perfectly aware how people will see me. I'm perfectly aware of the damage it will do to me in many ways. Yet I'm saying it anyway. And as I'm saying all these crazy things that I totally would understand that no one would want to believe, they make an entire, I don't know, 5 minutes. I forget how long it was. It wasn't no 20 seconds. An entire well-financed AI generated commercial for Trump Gaza Resort with Leon eating food by himself, with gold Donny statues on the Holy Land, with gold Donny trinkets being sold, gold Donny balloons in children's hands, little children running with money raining from the sky, Bibi and Donny chilling with their shirts off on the pool deck. Again, think about your reality. This crazy guy, me, saying what I'm saying. And then that comes out, proving everything I'm saying. Proving it, son. I said he has a God complex. He's the Antichrist. Then he associates himself with, probably financed with your money or someone's, a commercial with gold statues of himself on the fucking Holy Land. I say he's the Antichrist. He's going to go do some shit at the temple. I say as a God complex, he's going to want you to worship him. I say all roads lead to the Holy Land. They put out a commercial with gold statues of him, a man, on the Holy Land. When in modern history has anyone dared such a thing? Since the Caesars. That's how I know, again, this is different. This has this old world type evil to it, like the Caesars. I'm going to say it one more time because I want you to understand the gravity, if you haven't already, all two of you. This man and others straight promoting the idea on video of gold statues of this man on the Holy Land. What the fuck is more Hitlery? Even greater still, more antichristy than that? Again, I'm the crazy guy. Like, no one's going to believe this. I don't even expect them to, but I have to say it anyway, son. I have to, or it's my ass. Because there ain't many that know, and even less that are willing to straight up say it. Because they would have to deal with what I have to deal with. And they don't want that. I'm saying this crazy outlandish shit. Then they show it to you on video. And Donnie, a few months later, posting pics straight from it, son. Not a repost. Donnie grabbed that. If I had time, I'd show you the gold statue pictures again. We'll go over it again one night. Because I still can't believe it happened. If this were a movie, I'd be the crazy guy that no one believed, that everyone called a conspiracy theorist or something like that, yelling on camera about these things day after day. And then the bad guys in the movie make a commercial about what they're going to do and who they are and prove everything I'm saying. I did not see that coming. But again, I've heard a lot of you over the years in my perusal of that world say things like, there's a rule. They have to tell you what they're going to do. They have to show us what they're going to do. It's some divine rule between the people of God and Satan. I really wonder if that's what it is, or is it for desensitizing? What's the reason? Why would you show us that? And lend credence to what a crazy motherfucker like me is saying. They know the story, son. They into some occult bullshit. They know that story. They know people out here. Some of us know the story. Yet they still dare to put that commercial out with gold Donnie statues on the fucking Holy Land. Why? Maybe they have to tell us. I don't know. Maybe there's some unspoken rule. Like so many of you said over the years. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like the devil showing his cards or something. I just don't get it. I mean, maybe he has to. I mean, who can you think of in modern history that wanted a gold statue of themselves where Jesus walked? It's not normal. I've never seen anything like it. And still to this day, I'm astounded they showed us that. It just, again, is for me, it made me feel better in one respect that all of you out there could see it and be like, whoa, mate, this guy said all this stuff, and then they make a commercial of a gold statue of the man this guy's talking about in fucking Jerusalem? Or excuse me, Israel? I don't know. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe they have to share some divine rule. I don't know. Donnie talks shit about George Clooney. I'll read a little bit. I don't want to read it all. Good news, George and Amal Clooney, two of the worst political prognosticators of all time, have officially become citizens of France, which is sadly in the midst of a major crime problem because of their absolutely horrendous handling of immigration, much like we had under Sleepy Joe Biden. Remember when Clooney, after the now infamous debate, dumped Joe during a fundraiser only to go onto the side of another stellar candidate, Jamala, and then he puts a K in parentheses after. That's the new name for Kamala now, Jamala. What? Who is now fighting it out with the worst governor in the country. All right, I'm not going to read the rest. He insults Newsom, Tim Walz, a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, I liked a lot of George Clooney's movies. I think he's a brilliant actor. I was highly disappointed that George and others seemed to lead an effort against Joe Biden. Highly disappointed. Highly disappointed in the Democratic Party that they went along with that little thing. Joe got thrown under the bus by his own party and major donors of the party, George Clooney being one of them. I heard it was about something. Clooney wanted help regarding his wife with some issue, and Biden didn't do it. I heard that was the real reason. I have a feeling that is the real reason. Which again is disappointing because I like some of Clooney's movies. So in Donnie's cavalcade of abominable posts, he managed to squeeze in insults about Kamala, George Clooney, his wife, Tim Waltz, Gavin Newsom, and he manages to bring up how they threw Biden under the bus. And we're at the end finally, because my good thing, because my voice is about to give out. U.S. Southern Command, well, that's Pete Hegseth. That's the Secretary of War. That's his department. On December 30th, at the direction of Secretary of War Hegseth, again, I guess the Admiral made a deal. Pete, you got to put your name at the top of all these from now on. Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted kinetic strikes against 3 narco-trafficking vessels traveling as a convoy. I guess we'll see no evidence. They're just calling them narco-terrorists. These vessels were operated by designated terrorist organizations in international waters. That's meaningless to me. You can't just call something a designated terrorist organization. That's the new phrase that the Reich uses for we can call anyone terrorist and we can keep the names of those groups secret from you. That's what this phrase designated terrorist organization means. Someone we've declared a terrorist. No, we're not telling you what group they belong to because they're not actually a terrorist. It's just another boat we felt like blowing up to send a message. Intelligence confirmed the vessels were transiting along no narco trafficking routes. Okay. Did intelligence say there was drugs on the boat, though? And had transferred narcotics between 3 vessels prior to the strikes. Prior to the strikes? Wouldn't you want to get them while the drugs were on board? Three narco-terrorists aboard the first vessel were killed in the first engagement. Here we go again. You ready? The remaining narco-terrorists abandoned the other 2 vessels, jumping overboard, distancing themselves before follow-on engagements. We sank their respective vessels. Following the engagements, Southcom immediately notified to activate the search and rescue system. You mean after the guys drowned? Notice how they didn't say what happened to the people. I thought about it. If this is honest and accurate, which it probably isn't. Well, they blew up the boats. Some people survived. They were in the water. They decided not to swim to the boat because they knew another missile was probably coming. Blew the rest of the stuff out of the water. That stuff sinks. It's obliterated. Those men are swimming in open water. How long do you think they'll last? Open ocean. Not long. Just the current and swell, even on a relatively calm day, that'll wear a man out real quick. Open ocean, son. I'm assuming the guys drowned or they killed him. Because they don't say what happened to the survivors. They just say they hit the boats again. Oh, we activated the rescue alert system. Yeah, they dead. They either let them drown or they just killed them outright and they're just not telling us. And that's the end. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, a wonderful new year. I wish it was under better circumstances. Because I'm getting to the point where I realize every holiday, I realize every day what we are living in right now and where it's going. And it makes holidays not holidays. It makes hope for the future not possible. It's not fun. I don't like it. So even on Christmas, even today, even next year when we have holidays, it's just going to be, for me, it's just going to be blah. And it's a shame, it's a shame most of the world took this path. And again, I'm not saying I'm going to kill myself. That's not what I'm trying to convey to you people. What I am trying to convey to you is the reality of our situation. And I personally, I don't have any party left in me. I don't have any start overs. I don't have any, yeah, I'm really eager to fight a war. Uh, I can't wait for my execution by the Reich whenever that comes, for being, talking shit, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to any of that. Or this whole thing, this wonderful apocalypse where, 97 plagues must be suffered, millions, billions must die. And hopefully at the end, a man comes back and saves us all. Like a fairy tale. Especially after all the bad I know and see. And I look at history every day. Things you people don't even know happened. And what men have done since the beginning of time. And every day it makes me realize what we've done here. Not we. I've had no control of jack shit. What they've done here is nothing. I understand why God has no love for it. I understand why God will wipe it all away. I understand why God's not impressed in the least. I understand why it has to end. I just hope it doesn't take too long. Because I don't know if people can take, 10, 15 years of this. And if I'm not right, and 6 years from now, Donnie croaks, and we're finally rid of the problem, and people have to come in and clean up this mess, it'll take fucking 40 years to clean up this damage. You don't even know the extent of it yet. I can guess a lot of it that's not been publicized yet. Does the human race have that in them? I don't think they do. I don't think the human race has. We'll get over Armageddon and all that, and the destruction of America and a large portion of the world. And we'll just rebuild and start over, and we'll go back to everything we do, going to the mall and all the bullshit. Get married, just a typical cliche path of everyone's life. That's been done an infinity before. That never works out for anyone. In other words, I guess what I'm saying is I get it. And it took 50 years. of hope for the next time. For the world in many different situations, the world in general. Oh, maybe it'll get better. Oh, maybe it'll get better. Stay hopeful. No, just gets worse and more worthless. We're at the point in history, whether it's the end or not, where 12, 13 tech bros are taking almost all of the money this country produces in handouts, and Donnie's taking the rest. In an attempt to build some AI utopia where we're all subjugated, they get everything. We have nothing. They're not rich enough with all the welfare they've got. They still have to institute their daddy's plan, or their daddy won't like them anymore. Their daddy being the imp. Everything I'm telling you is dead accurate, serious. Not drama in the slightest. Where a small percentage of this planet called an oligarchy wants an AI utopia. Where they have everything, the rest of us have nothing. Slave labor, dictatorships, no more democracy. They're this close. Once Donnie drops the facade and really unleashes this thing, we're there. He could do that tomorrow, by the way. Subjugation camps, no rights anymore, no free speech anymore. Are you ready? World War III, are you ready? All inevitable. Every bit of what I just said. And not 40 years from now again. That's our reality now. Tech bros, the imp, all the money going to the top, and they want even more. All of us having nothing, no job, no nothing. Because AI is the new God. That's where they've taken us, whether we like it or not, son. And we almost there, too. Where an image will be made to the Antichrist, where your worship will be asked for, and you will be worshiping the devil. Once you take that mark. And that's coming. Again, the coin's already sitting there with the number on it. All ready to go. All you need is your marker wearable. We're so close. That's your literal reality. Pete Thale in his bedroom, imagining what new body he wants to put his consciousness in. I'm not fucking kidding you. Leon Scum thinking about how much space taxes he can charge when he's king of the earth on Mars. I am not kidding you. That's what he thinks about. And being world dictator, just like Donnie. They're the same entity. That's what I always forget when I wonder who the false prophet is. I forget the fact that Donnie and Leon are the same person. The same snowflake. They both want to run the entire world. They see themselves doing that. So he's really still my strongest candidate for that. It's got to be him. They're the same person. That's why they came as a package. Just like Adolf and his chancellor back in the day. What I've just said to you is your reality. That's where the oligarchy is taking us. They already have all the money pretty much on Earth. Not enough. They want you to have nothing. And that's what their daddy wants too. All guaranteed inevitable. Not the Leon on Mars part. That's never going to happen. But you know what I'm saying. They taken us there. With your money, they taken us there. What do you think finances fail? Money from the UK, money from the United States, money from Israel. What do you think finances Leon? Money from various countries, more handouts from America than God's received. Altman, same thing, your money. You get to pay again for your own subjugation. You're paying for it now. Literally. Paying for your own subjugation. Your tax money will cover the flight or train or whatever boat when they take you to a camp someday. That's literally our reality. And there's no way out of it. And it's all inevitable. It's too late to turn back. I knew where we'd get to places like open mass murder in the Caribbean as well. But back to what I was saying, and then I'll end this thing. I just can't believe it's actually going there. I can't believe they're all taking us there. And I wonder how many millions are going to die in the end. And I still wonder why this has to happen. And again, back to the question, what I meant to say. How much more can the world take of this? God? 5 years, 6 years, 9 years, 10, 15, 20, 30. I'm wrong and we just do it for another couple thousand till we're fucking cyborgs. Not even human anymore. Back to the old grindstone, shitty fucking 3D reality. I don't think the world can handle 10 more years of this, 15 more years of this. Not that God gives a fuck about that, obviously. But, you know, there have been tyrants that have lasted 20, 30 years. There have been tyrants like Hitler that lasted 12. I don't know how people lived like that for so long. Throughout time, over and over again. Living for a century. Russia, my God, dictatorship since forever. How do people live in these conditions for so long? And we ain't even all the way there yet. Just abomination and evil all day. As if it were a 1984 novel. Or China. They got 1984 going all day there. Every day, all day. How do people do it? And why does it have to keep happening? Why hasn't God intervened before now? What's the holdup? Why does it have to take 3,000 years? More than that. Who knows when the first men were on this planet? It's only been 2,000 years since the death of Christ, or birth of Christ, however you look at it. One of the things that bothers me a lot. Why so long? Why is this necessary? Why generation after generation till the point we get to a technological place where the devil can be omnipresent via AI? Why was all that necessary? I'm not God, but I'm sure I won't like the answer, whatever it is. So my personal opinion, I don't know how long the world can take this. Especially when it really gets kicking. And I wonder why God would allow it for so long. And honestly, what would disgust me the most, I'm being way too honest with you people here. What would disgust me the most is if I'm wrong and this world just continues on this same path of just corruption, nothing, waste of fucking time it's been since the beginning. That's maybe the scariest thought. Which is fucked up because the other path is dying at the hands of the Reich. And I'm right. But at least that path means a possible new beginning. Something actually worth something. Which is something this world has never been. You understand that since second one. Absolutely worthless. Everything that's been done, just all of it. Imperfect, entropy, sinful, of the devil. He runs this place. So why is any of it worth saving? It's not. Mortality, what we are right now, that's not worth saving either. That's why we need to go to that next step and be that other thing, and the separation needs to take place. I'm not talking separation between Republican and Democrat or right-wing and liberal. I'm talking about the separation of the wheat from the chaff, the people of God from the lake fodder. That needs to happen. I'm personally tired of reality involving the lake fodder. I'd rather they be gone. From my existence. Why? Because they've made my existence miserable. At so many unexpected turns, I've come across random humans that I can tell were sent straight by the devil. I'll give you an example. A stupid one. I was on a toilet once in a grocery store. Doing what you do on a toilet in a grocery store. Because you have no other choice. And a man walked into the bathroom to use the urinal, I guess. I assume. I hope. That's what he was in there for. And he must see my feet under the thing. Why he was looking, I don't know. And he starts talking to me. And I'm thinking, I'm in the bathroom here in a grocery store, in a public place, trying to take a shit. And I got some strange asshole opening his mouth, talking to me. Who does that? Just that alone is wrong. But let's continue. He's telling me, as I'm sitting on the toilet doing my business, that I am not sitting on the toilet properly because I'm assuming he thought this, because I thought about this for a long time after it happened, because I hate the cunt. Because I know who sent him. The urinals are on like one wall, and the toilet is on like the back wall. I guess the cunt was a plumber or something, or knows a little bit about plumbing, and assumed it was all on the same wall. Because he's a genius, talking to some random stranger in a shitter in the grocery store. So he proceeds to tell me that I'm not sitting on the toilet properly because he's not in the stall with me. But he somehow magically knows where the toilet is positioned in this stall he's not in. I could tell by the tone of his voice he was sent by the devil. I could tell by the anger inside of me wanting to kill him he was sent by the devil. That's why he was sent. To get me in some shit on top of the shit I was already taking. So he's talking, laying out his case on why I'm not on the toilet, and he says something to the, what are you doing in there? What I was doing in there was thinking, why is this word I can't say publicly asking me, a complete stranger, taking a shit in a public restroom, what I'm doing, and accusing me of not being on the toilet? This was one of the few times in my life that I knew this was straight from the devil. This was sent right to me from the devil. It's happened many times in my life. And I stayed cool-headed, and I said, this the devil. Just let him do his thing and let him walk out. Don't say nothing. Because you know me, I was this close to cracking some fucking joke or something that would have pissed this guy fucking off. He would have wanted to fight the second I got out the stall, and I would have obliged him. No problem. That wasn't the problem. When you realize it's the devil, you realize police may be involved in the aftermath of what you do. That's what I was scared of. That's why I held my tongue. So after the guy accused me of not being on the toilet, after he asked me what I was doing in there, he made sure to say, because I wasn't saying a word, I had already decided this guy's a fucking freak. Word I can't say in public. I'm just going to leave this alone. Because I don't want to go to jail for killing this motherfucker today. He said, yeah, I'm talking to you. And I knew that. And I didn't hear a man, I heard the devil. This has happened to me many times. And there have been times, I hate to admit, the devil won and got me to do something and cost me big time. Because the devil been trying to get me in that situation my whole life. I've seen the pattern over and over again. I won't waste any more time. I could spend the next 2 days giving you example after example after example. And yeah, I'm talking to you. In other words, son, here's what proves my point right here. The man wasn't satisfied till he got a reaction. The man, the low rent, $3 idiot raised in a barn, is in a public restroom in a grocery store talking to another man who he does not know, who is taking a shit, who wants to be left alone, to go to the bathroom and have a normal experience in the restroom. He thought that was okay. Now, if a person had to go real bad, I could see him knocking on the door and saying, you know, you almost done, blah, blah. That's normal. That's okay. This man was sent straight from the devil, one of the lowest cretins. I could tell by just the whole situation. I would never go into a public restroom and start accusing a man who's taken a number two of not being on the toilet, this, that, and staying there, keep talking till I get a reaction. And again, I'm not talking about a bunch of kids running in the bathroom and, you know, messing with the person in the stall. This isn't what we're talking about here. How I know he was sent straight from the devil to get a reaction out of me so I would go to prison. What's the last statement? And yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay, freak, you can leave now. That would have been an appropriate statement by me, I'm sure. Of course, that would have started a fight because I could tell also about him. He's the type of guy who thinks he's a tough guy. Again, that's one example of so many. I could go on for 2 days nonstop and give you more. And it's a great example of why the greatest tragedy would be that if I'm wrong, this Reich ends in 6 years and we all got to clean up the mess. And it just continues on. The race to the first trillionaire or second or third. The race to who has enough money to buy a planet. That cunt going into restrooms sent by the devil. Or the cunt in your life that you know was sent by the devil. Just out of nowhere. You weren't expecting it. You were minding your business. You weren't doing nothing. You weren't looking for trouble. But the devil sends one of his special little children right to you. Out of nowhere. And they say, yeah, I'm talking to you. That was one time the devil did not get me, but it did really piss me off. There have been other times where I did react. I got caught in the wrong mood. I got caught tired. I got caught worn out. And it cost me huge. I don't know what else to say. I think I've depressed people enough. It does need to end. It just does. I don't see where we go from here. And the oligarchy and the Antichrist and the people at the top right now, they taken us to the inevitable conclusion. That's what I think. And we must suffer it. I don't know why. I'm not God. I don't know why God doesn't just end it right fucking now. What's the fucking point? Anyway, there's a story and it's going to play out that way. It's written and we must suffer it. I hope everyone has a wonderful year as well, as good of one as you can have. And it's a shame. I remember right before last New Year's, me on camera telling you, don't worry about the people, that are bad for you in your life. Don't worry about making amends with them and all that. The people you do like, the people that you're cool with, spend some time, hang out for a minute. And I ain't the type of guy to say that. I'm not a big, need a lot of friends guy. Never was. I remember telling you, though, Donnie had won the election. It was past November. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I said, enjoy things now. Music, this, that, friends. I said, don't worry about the cancers, the bad people, the people that it just ain't going to happen. Don't worry about it. Don't waste your time. The cool people you down with. Maybe you don't see them that often. Maybe it's a family member, whatever. And you see them, take a minute and hang out for a little bit. And again, all the music you like, all the things you enjoy a little bit. Don't go crazy. I remember saying, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Look where the fuck we at now, son. And I'm thinking after he won, again, I've been saying this stuff for 10 years. Camps, roundups, none of this stuff had happened yet. And I'm saying it. He's going to use the military. I'm saying that to you before January, in January, before he even takes over. Look where we are now. Roundups, military deployed against us that you paid for. Massive amounts of welfare. Government has been dismantled. Country has been partially looted. 7 countries bombed. Over 100 bodies in the Caribbean. 2 oil tankers seized. Site bombed in Venezuela. Amazing. How many people were rounded up? How many American citizens grabbed? Remember last year, I told you, hang out, listen to that music you like a little bit. Because I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of bad things have happened exactly like I thought they would. And this year was a fucking abomination. All the way up to today. So my God, what are we going to see next year? So my advice last year, put that on steroids this year. Because by the end of next year, I'm rather afraid to see where we gonna be at. Now that I've seen a year of it. Happy New Year. God, I can't even talk. Happy New Year and have a wonderful evening. There's no way I should have been on camera this long. I'm worse than a drunk right now and I haven't drank a damn thing. I'm just that tired, that worn out. Have a good night. Happy New Year.